Alright, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of TEW Local Global 1987, and we're back with some GCW. And we're here on the December 9th episode of Fuel, and let's get straight into the show. So I'm recording this right after I record the episode that comes out. I think it's episode 153, so I record these two immediately after another. So Rey Mysterio gets a victory on the pre-show over Yoshihiro Tajiri, who's in developmental. Now with Rival Pro, because MCW is officially not a child company for GCW. They've been cut loose. But anyway, on the pre-show, Rey gets a victory over Tajiri. This was our high spots match, and they have great chemistry, and you can see that. We open the show with the Syndicate cutting a promo, and The Rock coming out, and The Rock wants Steve Austin, The Big Show, and Ken Shamrock in a 3-on-3 tag match tonight. The only problem is Rock needs to find two partners for the match. Alright, next up, Dean Malenko gets a victory over Scotty 2 Hottie of Too Cool, and this did really well. I didn't expect a 70. Dean with an 83, and Scotty with a 59. They have pretty good chemistry, that's good. Afterwards, Too Cool beat down Dean Malenko, and this time it's Billy Kidman's turn to make the save for Dean Malenko, a 43. Raven is cutting a backstage promo. He accepts to face Perry Saturn in a ladder match next week for the TV title, and if Raven loses, of course, the flock is freed. So we'll see that next episode, Raven versus Perry Saturn, ladder match, 85. Tag titles on the line next, and the Nation of Domination are unsuccessful in claiming the World Tag Team Championships because the New Age Outlaws get the victory when Billy Gunn pinned D'Lo with a pile driver, and Farouk ran in to attack D'Lo and Kama during the match. Gets an 80. It's not bad. An episode of Buff TV with special guests Chris Candido and Chris Jericho, and they eventually lose patience and start insulting the crowd. They go around ringside and just insult fans one by one, and finally Jericho gets to a masked fan in the front row and tells him he's an idiot or something, I don't know. And the masked fan jumps the crowd, jumps the barricade, and starts beating down Jericho and Candido, takes off the masks, and it's DDP. 69. We're backstage with The Rock, and he's talking to Brian Pillman, and he asks him to team with him tonight, and Pillman accepts, so gets a 92. Dustin Rhodes versus Hector Garza, and Dustin gets the victory, and 6:39 with the final cut. Afterwards, Mankind comes out, and they have a little bit of a confrontation with the segment ending with Mankind slapping Dustin, maybe a receipt for last week. Gets an 88. We're backstage again. The Rock is now asking Sting to team with him, and Sting accepts. So, we're going to see Sting, Pillman, and The Rock versus Steve Austin and Show Rock in the main event of tonight, which a little bit of conflict in the face side because Sting and Pillman are at odds right now. So 87. The rematch for Booker T and Eddie Guerrero is up next, and Booker T this time gets a victory with a roll-up. So now, what happens? You know, Eddie Guerrero wants the Intercontinental Championship against Chris Benoit, but now Booker T just got a victory over Eddie. So, 82. The Undertaker's cutting a promo in the ring, and he says that Kane is a liar, or Paul Bearer is a liar, I should say. Kane was the one who set fire to the house, and not the Undertaker. So, it's a 93, and, you know, he's hyping the Revolution match, so 93. And then our main event gets an 82. Not too shabby. Steve Austin only getting a 77. But, whatever. Steve Austin pinned Sting with the stunner. So 82. Ends our show with an 87, which might be one of our best fuels that we've done. Popularity growing. That's good. And we are not done here. We still have 2 more shows to see. So once again, I will not be showing the booking process for Rival Pro because we have the Rival TV episode, but we also have Rivals Collide on Saturday, the December 14th. And WWF have hired Hulk Hogan. Alright, what did Raw put on? We beat Monday Night Raw, so that's not surprising though. We're doing good. Alright, so let's get into Rival Pro Wrestling. Let's show you the results, and we'll get to Rivals Collide. Just give me a second, we'll be right there. Alright, we're here on Rival TV number 15. We're starting off with Shane Douglas making his Rival Pro return. Comes out to the ring, and Johnny Ace comes out, and Shane doesn't want to give up his opportunity at the title. So Johnny Ace tells him that condition number 3 is that if Shane Douglas loses, he will have to leave Rival Pro Wrestling. So it gets a 67. And Shane Douglas, of course, agrees. So, which means the Rivals Collide main event will be Johnny Ace versus Shane Douglas for the Rival Pro Heavyweight Championship. Next up, Baron Von Buchanan gets a victory over Gill. And it gets a, terrible rating. That's fine. Paul Jones is backstage, and he announces that Mark Henry, that's right, Mark Henry will be there at Rivals Collide this Saturday for an in-ring interview. So it gets a 20. Kevin Kelly is interviewing the World Tag Team Champions, Jerry Lynn and Justin Credible, and they're talking about the Coalition, Edge and Christian, on pay-per-view. 45. Val Venus makes his Rival Pro debut against Art Barr, and he ends up getting the victory by cheating. And afterwards, they brawl a little bit, so it gets a 32. Taz is cutting a backstage promo. He wants to be a Rival Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. And in our main event, Mike Awesome gets a victory over Bob Holly. And we get a 53. So not terrible. And that's how we end the go-home show to Rivals Collide. So, same thing for pay-per-views for Rival Pro. Not showing the booking process, just showing the results. AI hirings, let's see what's going on over here. Alright, we got a house show. Alright, I still have to book Saturday Night's Wrestling. That should be for 2 weeks, right? Yeah. Perfect. So I'm going to book that, and then I'll come back for Rivals Collide. So we'll be back in just one moment. All right, we are here, ladies and gentlemen. Rivals Collide 1996. Rival Pro Wrestling's first pay-per-view, and we're starting off the pre-show with a 5-on-5 elimination tag team match. It's Balls Mahoney, Michinoku and Funaki, and the Unholy Alliance versus the Sultan, Baron Von Buchanan, the Holly Cousins, and the Black Phantom. And the team of Balls, Michinoku, Funaki, Unholy Alliance get the victory over the Sultan, Baron Von Buchanan, Bob Holly, Crash Holly, and the Black Phantom. The order of elimination, Baron Von Buchanan first, then the Black Phantom, Taka Michinoku, Crash Holly, Funaki, Sultan, and then Bob Holly. Gets a 39. There's no reason to have this match. It's only so, people can hopefully get over and maybe get better in the ring. So it gets a 39. We open the show with commentary, of course. They always open the show for my events. And Dave Brown and Mike Tenay, the commentators for tonight's show. 29. We start off with a tag team match, the Headbangers and Nova versus Nova and Steven Richards. BWO versus Headbangers. This feud has been going on for a while. And finally, Nova and Steven Richards end the feud with a victory over the Headbangers. We've got the interview with Mark Henry. And Steve Blackman comes out and he says, why is everybody so interested in Mark Henry when you have the greatest karate master of all time right here, Steve Blackman? And this leads to a match between Mark Henry and Steve Blackman right here, right now, which Mark Henry wins. In-ring performance of 9. Good job, Mark. 245, Death from Above. It's a 30. Mike Awesome versus X-Pac is up next, and X-Pac gets a surprise win over Mike Awesome. 61, not too shabby. Art Barr versus Val Venus, a rematch from Rival Pro TV, and Val Venus ends up once again beating Art Barr, and he gets a 42. Taz versus Disco Inferno is up next, and Taz destroys Disco in 526, so 41. tag titles on the line. We've got Jerry Lynn and Just Incredible versus the Coalition, and the Coalition end up defeating Jerry Lynn and Just Incredible when Edge pinned Just Incredible after hitting him with a steel chair, let's say. Which means we have new World Tag Team Champions, the Coalition. Edge and Christian gets a 54, but we're not done there. We still got our main event, Johnny Ace versus Shane Douglas. And in 1933, Shane Douglas defeats Johnny Ace with a pile driver, and Shane Douglas wins the Rival Pro Heavyweight Championship, gets a 64. After the match, Taz comes down, beats down Shane Douglas, and holds up the Rival Pro Heavyweight Championship. We get a 58. So let's tell Shane Douglas, good job. Let's tell Johnny Ace, good job. Let's tell Jerry Lynn, good job. You know what? No, Mike Awesome had a great performance, so let's tell Mike Awesome, good job. Alright, this did well. Popularity's growing, alright. Alright, so Mike, your whip break is poor. Alright, whatever. Not too great in terms of buys, but that's fine. So, Shane Douglas is the new Rival Pro Champion after Johnny Ace held it for 67 days. Edge and Christian, new tag champions. Led Incredible, holding it for 53 days. And that's going to be it for Rival Pro. Make sure GCW is alright. Yep, GCW is doing fine. Got no problems here. Let's go see MCW's new roster because, you know, they lost everybody. So let's see who they got. They've got Battle Cat, Brady Boone, Bob Yuma, C.W. Anderson, Chris Hamrick, Curry Man, of course, Eric Watts, Easy Money, Gene Petit, Italian Stallion, Johnny Rich, Scott Armstrong, Scott Putski, Steve Regal, Tim Patterson, Vic Steamboat. Yeah. So they're not doing amazing, are they? Alright, well that's where we're going to end it for today's episode. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like if you like this video, subscribe if you want more. And have a good one. Goodbye.